In northern communities, connection isn't just important, it's essential. What if the way we move through our city could strengthen our health, environment, and relationships? In Yellowknife, a growing movement is reshaping how people experience their community. SHIFT NWT is really a newer organization, but we've been running the program for the past few years. We started in 2024, and it started out as a program that introduced people in Yellowknife to basically borrow a bike for 2 weeks at a time to see if this is something that they could have in their everyday life. So we lend out bikes, e-bikes, e-cargo bikes, and e-trikes to people between the months of May and October.
My name's Adam Denley. Professionally, I'm a pilot, but in my spare time, I'm co-run SHIFT NWT.
And I'm Becca Denley, and I work full-time in housing, and I'm an architect, also co-founder of SHIFT NWT. And I'm also a team member for the YK Healthy Urban Policy team. We were living abroad for a few years. We had lived in Yellowknife for many years, and then we moved to Denmark, and we were living there with our kids, and we were very impressed with how autonomous they could be, go off to school on their own at a very young age and be able to bike to swimming. And we thought to ourselves, wow, this is going to be challenging. What can we do? And upon returning, we started planning out ways that we could maybe start to influence the local municipality, how they are designing their streets. And we knew that that was a very tall ask, and change in infrastructure can take a very long time. So then we started to think about, well, maybe we can help in a different way and really help introduce people to ways of moving in their everyday that is active mobility and ways that
we wanted to first allow people to have the experience and see what they find enjoyable about being more active in their mobility, and then realize the things that make that challenging, like the way the city is designed and the infrastructure, and then it comes from the people in the city that can then express these concerns to the city government.
Mm-hmm.
That seemed like a more successful way to actually make change, as opposed to just trying to top down imposing these lessons we learned from somewhere else in the world. When we got to Denmark, we found not having a car wasn't a burden, because we were in a city that had pretty good public transit, but they also had really good biking infrastructure and a lot of walking and biking paths that were not at all connected to the street. And so that meant that we could feel very comfortable letting our kids travel to school and to lessons and things like that, because we knew that we weren't going to have to cross any sort of complex and hazardous intersections with traffic. And then we found that liberated a bunch of time for us to do the things that we wanted to do. And the other thing that happened is, since we weren't spending money on a vehicle, even though we were on a single income, we were able to take all these little family vacations all over the place. There would be more money all of a sudden. And so, there were all these little reasons that we found, really, if it is possible to not own a car, you get all these sort of surprising co-benefits. So the job that brought us over there came to an end, and then when we were moving back to Canada, we thought we'd kind of like to continue living in this way as much as we reasonably can.
And once we were back and we started running SHIFT NWT, and shortly thereafter I just kept looking at what other opportunities are out there, and found the 880 cities and the Institutes for Health Research were holding grant applications for research groups that are looking into healthier city policies. And so I built a team of people that could examine this further. How can we create a healthy city in Yellowknife? This particular opportunity would bring us to Helsinki, Finland. So we had a team that was able to go to Helsinki in May 2025 to experience how that city changes, or I guess supports the people of the city to create a healthier environment. So they do that through, well, first of all, they make sure that the different departments talk to one another and the governments talk to one another. So the health department is talking with the transportation department, who is talking to the housing department to see how can we work together to create a community that is stronger. And so that's by supporting the people in the community. So we were there to witness some of these, I guess some of them are ground up in installations in the community. Things like a parklet, for example, could be something that's done within a city street, or a very, very connected bike way or pedestrian way that allows people to choose how they get around in the community, as well as a very strong transportation system.
My name is Robert Warburton. I'm a city councillor and deputy mayor for the city of Yellowknife. My background and interest has always been in housing in cities. I love how cities work and how they operate. And I was part of this team wearing my city council hat to kind of go see how other cities operate and how they kind of drive healthy living in the residents. They are a much bigger city. The resources are infinitely larger than ours. But there was a lot of takeaways, which I brought back to my work as city councillor. Helsinki has an amazing bike pass system, good public transit. But we got into the discussions with the folks at the city of Helsinki, different tour folks led us around. It wasn't instant, so it was iterative and they changed over time. So we even saw that we got to cycle around the city and move around during the program to different spots using the bike pass and walking infrastructure. And it was noticeably different throughout the city. So makes you think, well, if our infrastructure is solely focused on cars moving efficiently, which we still need to do, that's not going away anytime soon. But if a third of our city doesn't use a car, then maybe we should focus our attention and time and frankly budget on other modes of transportation. So, and SHIFT has really driven that conversation for sure at the city. We're doing a master transportation plan right now, trying to integrate all the policies, processes, standards into how we do transportation in Yellowknife. And the advocacy of SHIFT and the work they've done by including counselors in like this trip and this program they're working on has really kind of given that lens to look differently. It's really interesting to see now we're going to work at a holistic level as a city, and a lot of that input is being driven by SHIFT and folks that have been kind of involved with it.
A big part of what we hear back from the participants who enjoy SHIFT in the summertime, I notice a change in them when they're coming to return their bikes. So they've borrowed these bikes for 2 weeks at a time. And on that Friday that they're returning it, most of them are probably a little hesitant to bring them back because they want to keep them. But they do come back and they're ready to hand them off to the next person. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to have the bike program set up the way it is, because people drop off their bikes. We have volunteers that then check out the bikes, make sure everything is in working order, chat with the people, see how their experience was, and hand it off to the next group of people. And it's the smiles, it's the joy, it's that feeling that these people have now, there's been a shift, there's been a change in how they feel. Yes, that is, you start to notice a change. And then I start to notice them on the Frame Lake Trail riding bikes with me when I'm on my way to work in the morning. And so when I see those familiar faces that have enjoyed our program also on that trail, I say good morning, they say good morning. It's a lovely, lovely thing to see. SHIFT NWT isn't only about movement. It's about reclaiming space for people.
We've built our parklet now. It is complete. It'll be here for the entire Snow King Winter Festival, and then it'll go in storage until it's time to place it in downtown Yellowknife for the summer, and then people will be able to make use and enjoy of it all summer long. So it was a long and interesting project, and it's nice to finally see it out in the wild. And thanks to all the people who helped us put it together. There's kind of a long rotating crew of volunteers that helped us make it all come together. So thank you.
So the parklet idea sort of rose out of our trip to Helsinki with the YK Healthy Urban Policy team. And we thought that this was a great way to give back to the community. We could create this parklet. It can be positioned at the snow castle first, and people can experience it, sort of check it out. So we took it upon ourselves to construct one. And we used Makerspace as our teachers. They taught us how to use other tools.
So at Makerspace YK, we have a facility with a wood shop, a digital fabrication lab, and a multi-purpose art and sewing space that can also host gatherings. So we run a few different services for the community, including orientations, training, and workshops. And then people can also get memberships to learn how to use all the tools and have access to the space. Something that's really important for us is having a strong membership and even volunteers to help out with the space. Funding can be really tricky, and we want to make sure that this resource can be in Yellowknife for years to come. So we're always looking for folks to get involved. And it's really great because we can work with people like Becca, who have projects like the parklet. And if we didn't have the makerspace, it probably would have been a lot more difficult to actually make this project happen.
Yeah, we built it in sections so that it can be kind of disassembled and moved around where necessary. I mean, each section was still pretty heavy and unwieldy, but the idea is that it's something that can be taken down and moved to a new place. Yeah.
We've had parklets in Yellowknife, but that was more businesses using them for outdoor space. So the drive of this idea is to try to create a space outdoors that is usable and attractive for people in winter months too. So it's robust and designed to be year round. It is pushing the envelope. People's, there's pros and cons to having outdoor space at 40 below. But it starts, and the important part is it starts getting us talking about being outside and being active and kind of using public space year round as opposed to just using it in the summer, which is kind of the default right now. It gives a place for people to pause, connect, belong, that doesn't require them to buy anything, doesn't require them to kind of have any kind of transaction or demand on them besides being present and enjoying their city.
Cycling together transforms individual journeys into shared experiences.
Oh, that's amazing. But bike on the snow is my first experience, but unless you get really into damp snow, it's really smooth riding. Just considering going to winter and like all year long biking. I still want to try some e-bikes. I think it would be nice assistance to go uptown and back, but it looks like bike is pretty good way to go in town. So really excited for it and really thankful to be able to try them.
In a human library, people become books. Their stories become knowledge.
I heard about the event through Becca. I'm connected with Becca for all things bikes. And so when I saw that they were doing this event, I knew it was going to be amazing. So I signed up to volunteer and also to read a book. I think as a guest in the Northwest Territories, as someone who just moved here in the last 3 years, I have so much to learn about it. And there's so much that I don't know, and people who are willing to share their knowledge and show you a different perspective on the place that you're lucky to call home is really meaningful. And I think it's important to have stronger connections in the community. And something like this helps you make those connections and just look at things with more empathy and more caring and more understanding.
So it's important that SHIFT continues and becomes stronger so that our vision can become something that's more regular and more impactful for our communities. How can we maybe put in separated bike lanes in some places? How can we search for more funding that can accommodate those types of changes in infrastructure so that people are more convinced that they can do it because they get maybe some federal funding? So ideally, if I vision what's happening in 5 years from now, it'd be so lovely to see that connected bike lane that goes all the way across town or goes all the way out to Bella Dance so that our kids and other people's kids can be more autonomous in how they move around the community, so that they can go to their activities and we're on their own sometimes at a suitable age, so that maybe kids become less dependent on parents to drive them around. Maybe they become more independent, and maybe parents join their kids in their commute to school in the morning on their way to work on a bike. That would be amazing to see. I think that Yellowknife is a perfect place for this to happen. It's so compact, such a beautiful place, close to nature. We should be outside enjoying it on our way to work, even in -40. If I could do it every day. I did not picture myself as a person on a bike, by the way. Yeah, it took moving to another country and then coming back again to find out, wow, this is just an extension of my legs. Like, I don't bike to be brave. Some people call me brave. I'm like, no, this is just me heading off to work in the morning or coming home in the evening. It's just simple. And I'd like that for other people. Pass it on to you, Mr. Denley.
I'd like to expand our base of volunteers, because we have had sort of a small group of volunteers that's been like absolutely essential and has shown real dedication. But if we can get more people involved, then we have more opportunities to do different kinds of programs. Because we do the bike lending program, but we also do other things as well. Like we always have a booth at the trade show, or we'll have a booth set up at other similar events like a trade show. We've done group rides. We've done a couple of different events around educating people around winter biking and things like that. So we'd like to do more kinds of things like that. It'd be nice to have some kind of like a mentorship or an education program. It'd be really nice if we could get involved in schools, teaching kids how to, not just how to use a bike safely, but maybe how to do some very, very simple maintenance so that they don't get stuck somewhere, and also how to specifically travel in their communities. Like, I'd love to have an event where we have kids where we teach them how to ride safely, and then also bring out a map and say, okay, what part of town do you live in? Where do you want to go? You know, here's how you can safely get there. Here's where you need to be careful, and sort of get them to engage with how to be safe, but also be a little bit, freer in their community. It'd be really nice to be able to get funding to run programs like that, and also do giveaways. We'd love to be able to provide people with equipment that can sort of help them, maintain this lifestyle. Because maybe someone has a bike, and then something bent or broke, and then they didn't know what to do about it, and so then it just gathered dust. But if we can help people with maintenance or help provide higher quality equipment, I mean, that I think would really help us sort of move forward. But like at its heart, the thing that we need the most is we need to get more, people who are energetic and passionate about this kind of thing, which we're finding more of these people because they're getting involved in the program and they're having fun doing it. And so we really think that supporting programs like SHIFT and supporting the infrastructure changes that would make that kind of lifestyle easier is a really affordable way to improve the lives of the people in our communities. Right now, as we run SHIFT, we get a little bit of funding here and there, but it's basically just all funding out of pocket, and like that's okay for us for right now, but it's not sustainable, because when it comes to a time when we can't do that, then that means that the program has nothing to stand on. And we have spoken to people for whom participating in SHIFT has made a positive difference for them. And so we really need to have the reliable support that would allow SHIFT to continue in its current state, and also to grow to reach more people in different ways, and continue providing these positive impacts.
When communities rethink how they move, they reshape how they live. SHIFT NWT is more than bikes. It's momentum towards a stronger and healthier future. My hope is that more and more people recognize that there's a need for change in how we design our communities, so that our communities are there for people first. I mean, it has an impact on your health. It has an impact on the environment. It has an impact on knowing your neighbors, just being out and about with other people.
And I think what we really want to see out of this program is we want walking and cycling and taking the bus to become more normalized, less looked down upon in the way that it sometimes is. And what we want is more people engaging in this activity and then putting pressure on higher orders of government like the municipality or the territory or the federal government to say, like, we need better, safer and more efficient and more enjoyable ways to live in our communities. Becca's been the real driving force. Becca's ability to speak to people in a way that allows them to sort of share her passion and vision, and her hard work in doing all the dreadful admin is a big part of the success thus far.
Well, I just have to say that it's also Adam, because I keep coming home with all these crazy ideas and couldn't have done it without you. It's totally together that we've been able to accomplish this.
Up top.
Woo!
Nice.
Did it.